Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In my app, I have to use something called I have to make my app location aware. Okay, in simple English, I have to get GPS location. Okay, so I decided to use Thread before, but Thread itself didn't, I guess, work. So I think one of my friends tried to use Service before. We lost the code now. Can't find it now, but I'm trying to see how to actually work with Service. Um, and I believe that the location thing can be implemented using Service. So here we go. Service, cool thing about Service, why am I using Service? I don't, basically I want to keep it separate from the user interface thread, and also I want to, that's it actually, just want to keep it separate. So I'm using Service. Services I think are cool. Okay. Basically, Service is like an activity, but it's not. Only difference is that it's not showing, it's not acting, or we can say connecting to the user interface views or anything. It's just it has that thing, it has the default function like on create and all this thing, which which you need if you want to initialize the location client class. Anyway, we'll go back to what is this cast or webcast, I don't know what it's called, camcast, screencast. Screencast is for trying to understand a sample service class from the Google. So it's written here. It is copyright 2012 open source project. Yeah, and it is using this function called there's a lot of class here you can see, and this is this service. If I'm trying to understand the service, is this one. So yeah, a few things I understood so far while I was reading it. So this is this app that retrieves images. You know what? I'll make a separate video of what this app is actually. So this video, let's explain how what's happening behind it. So this app, think about this app. For example, so far all the apps I made, it has just everything in the user interface, right? You click on the user interface and give something. That's it. But now this is the next level kind of app. So far I have seen all the course that I have studied. And let me reassure you, I didn't study any single app so far, except this one. This is kind of the first app I'm studying from Android. Normally I would just copy paste it, not study it, but yeah, becoming a good person now. Loyal, more serious study person. Moving on. This is a component which gets the what do they get? Let me say. Sending putting the URL to website from the Ooh, okay. So well, I don't know what it's trying to say, but I don't know exactly what it's trying to say, but I think I'm gonna say what I think it's trying to say. So what it's trying to say is that this is a component of the app which for example I would give this component some data, I think, which will contain URL of the server. So let's look at what's happening. Once the moment I get an intent from somebody, like somebody is like he wants to do something, and I'm like, okay, I raise my hand and I say I can do that, no problem. And I kind of look at what his intention, what he's requesting, and I see that he has a URL inside it. So I take the URL out of it. Okay. Then well, it's quite a position to use in Korean that no idea. The URL that's local to this method, God knows. At first, that's local to this. Okay, but this is they're initializing value. Let's see what's happening now. Now, from the intent, I got a string, okay, message of the data. That is still not a URL. That is ready to be fired. So I have the string, so I kind of extract the URL from the string. Remember this variable is actually the URL class. So yeah, this is extracted to here. Now let's see what's this is used. Now I'm trying to get the URL connection. Class open a connection to the URL. If I record this training session, I don't know what is that useful. What do you even mean by URL connection? URL is supposed to be a website name, right? I don't know. Okay, moving on. Okay. Right. Okay. Great. So look at this. As I was saying that the URL is supposed to be just a website name, and I was kind of true, I think, because here I was like, okay, how can a URL open its connection itself? It's not. This URL connection is kind of the brother of HTTP URL connection. See, that makes sense. I mean, HTTP URL connection is a protocol. Like it is kind of the socket. So I used to the app that I used to make where I'm gonna talk to from one device to another device. I normally use sockets. Okay, these are sockets, but a little bit more professional, I think. A little bit more professional. Okay. These are sockets when you want to talk to a server. Okay. I think that's a pretty cool idea. That does make sense. Normally, a socket that I use, or any average guy would use, a beginner in Java would use, is to connect to different devices. That's it. But here it's a little advanced, you see. Yes, it is connected to different devices, but it's not just connected to a computer. Technically, it is a computer, but I'm connected to a server. Server is like it serves different requests coming from different computers. A lot of connection requests coming from a lot of places. Okay, it is handling these requests, and the server has database and all this thing. Okay, so yes, it is. It's like uh, this is my request. This is my socket. I'm starting my socket. What kind of socket is that? It is the HTTP kind of socket. Okay, let's look at this more. I'm trying to create an HTTP connection. Well, it is using the constant connection to HTTP connection to HTTP connection. So I'm making the socket that I brought out of the local. So let's just say I kind of trying to preparing to start a socket, and I'm trying to say that I need this kind of socket. Alhamdulillah. I have this kind of socket, so I'm trying to find a little bit more of the socket. So I define the user agent, and going to converter to see the oil was red previously in the content provider, in the content provider, and the oil was red previously. Okay, alright, so this is a little next level. I mean, I don't understand now, but later on, when I go through the app, I don't know what it's doing. Moving on here, doing something. This is boring. Okay, yeah, this was I was trying to explain. Imagine this is my content provider. I guess I was trying to tell myself that content provider is like Flickr. It provides my content. Content provider. So Flickr is a provider who is providing content as images, and it's getting. Can you just shut up? What? I mean, that tutorial, man. It's just. Okay. The graphics and the content jacket. You are content provider. Just keep content to yourself and be content. Okay, so moving on to the tutorial. This is my new tag. Content provider. Nickname content. I'm content with my content. Are you? No. Okay, so finding the URL sounds pretty good data in the content provider. So for example, if it's let's say content provider was Flickr, and actually my whole model I was trying to imagine got trashed when I point down because I think controller it could be the server itself, or maybe it is the cache. So I don't know. So that means that I will not explain this part. I'll move on here. Again, this part is boring. There are some things that would start from simple lines and check it, and then when you want a little bit more feature, then you add a little bit more. So these are the parts which is like the more feature part. Okay. So now let's look at this now. So this guy, when he's trying to, before he tried to make connection, he did a lot of things. And moved on. He's moving on to the real thing. So now he's telling the other people, everybody else, that I'm about to connect to the RSS feed. Okay, RSS feed, here we come. Okay, so now gets a response from us. So now look at this. Once I'm happy with everything, I try to take my code response code from the HTTP dude to see. I made a connection, right? I made a solid connection, and I want to see one of the thing of HTTP is there is something called a response code, or every data has I think something called metadata. How do you pronounce it? Metadata. So like it is not the data itself, but it talks about the data. Like if the data is actually readable, or if it is data at all, or it's some junk, or when was the data added or not. So I'm getting this data response code, and because from the response code I will interpret it in different ways. For example, this guy will give me, this guy server will say, for example, I tell the server to give me the data, and then it's going to say I don't have the data, or it will say I have the data. So from that I will act accordingly. So imagine if the response code says, okay, I got the data, right? Yeah, I got it. So once it says I got the data, so what I do is I put this data in oh yeah, there we go. I kind of, first of all, there are a lot of things written. I told you there are so many things that are actually not the data, but things on the data. For example, the date. When was this data modified? It comes. So I also extract the data out of it, and then I tell the guys, other companies in the app here. I tell other companies in the app that okay, I'm about to start. Okay, I've got other things to be necessary. It's not, I haven't done anything real, but these are important, necessary. I'm going toward the real thing. So this video was until I explained it until what happens until before we start the real deal. Okay, the preliminary things. I'll explain the rest in the next video. Thank you very much.